What's up, golfers? Coach Josh here. Today I'm super excited because we're going to talk about plyometrics today. So power training, speed training. Plyometrics simply is a term that a lot of people call them plyos or jump training, are used to describe exercises where your muscles are exerting a maximum amount of force in a relatively short amount of time. Okay, so instead of thinking about maybe going down nice and slow on a squat and then coming up smooth, the exercise is very, very short. So we're trying to train those kind of fast twitch muscle fibers to put out more power. So the faster you can move and the more force you can put through the ground, the faster you'll be able to swing the club. Because as we've talked about before, those ground reaction forces, especially your vertical power, so the ability to push down through the ground in the downswing and through impact, is what's really going to help increase that overall club head speed. So today, I'm going to share with you some of my favorite plyos that you can use to help boost that club head speed. Quick note, if you have joint replacements, so knee replacements, hip replacements, those kinds of things, I've got you covered today. We're going to start with the lower level or more basic plyos that you can do if you've had joint replacements, so we're not actually putting a lot of impact and stress on those joints, but you can still learn to push and be quick in those movements to still put force down through the ground. All right, so again, we've got those three ground forces. What we want to do first is, before we learn to create force, we need to learn to absorb force. Okay, so when I talk about absorbing it, I'm talking about if I was to jump, if I was to take a step here, little higher than the average step you'd have at home, most people would just normally step down. What if I was to fall down off the step or to hop off it? Again, if you've got those joint replacements, you're not going to jump off, but what you would normally do is you try and absorb that impact and force, okay? So if I was going to jump off, I would want to land nice and soft, bending the knees, bending the hips. Now, if you're going to absorb force, and again, you want to start at a low level, you don't want to put too much impact on the joints, all we're going to do is go from a standing position to a squat. Imagine there was a chair right here and you were going to try and jump down into it without sitting on the chair. So you're actually going to go boom. So your feet are actually going to break contact. If you look at my feet, you can see they're actually getting off the ground just a little bit, so you could slide a sheet of cardboard under there, and I'm going to pop down. So I'm going to absorb that force, but I'm doing it by pushing the hips and butt back, so it's essentially like I'm dropping into a squat. So that drop squat is going to get you used to feeling, okay, I'm absorbing that body weight, moving down into the ground. And again, these are meant to be done quickly. So if you're not used to moving quickly, you might look kind of like this, but then you want to actually put force into it and boom, drop down as quick as you can, stand up and reset. And you're only going to do 5 to 6 at the most, because this is a maximum speed exercise, okay? So we're trying to absorb that force quickly. Here's the low impact version. Here's the high impact version. We come up to a step, okay? And we're going to step off, hop off, soft landing, absorb the impact, reset, hop off, absorb the impact. Again, 5 or 6. It just gets you used to absorbing force, okay? Now we're going to look at throwing your body into a hinge position, another progression, low impact here, okay? I'm going to have my arms up, and I'm actually going to throw my arms down and boom, come down into that position from here. And this is a progression of the drop squat. Throw the arms back and throw the arms back. Okay? Again, if you wanted to progress it from the step, just use a higher step. All right? Again, 5 or 6. Just 5 or 6 of those is going to be plenty. Now, if you're finding that you're liking what you're seeing here, you're enjoying these exercises that we've been doing, please subscribe for more great content. That really, really helps us out a lot. All right? So our next exercise, we're going to actually put that force down through the ground and get off the ground. So we're going to work on those vertical forces. Again, low impact version first. We're going to go into this position, and then I'm going to explode. So this is a triple extension. So ankles, knees, hips are all going to boom, come up. See if you can balance on the balls of the feet. So I'm going loading into the hips, so I get that hinge back, and I'm going to explode up. So there's very little impact here, you can see. But I'm learning to move and extend fast and put force down through the ground to come up. Balance. Boom, work that moving fast and drive through. Again, the first few you might have issues with balance. You can have a wall beside you if you need to, but work at driving through there. Okay, that's progression 1. Progression 2 is just actually jumping off the ground. So if you don't have any restrictions with the knees or hips with those joint replacements, you can work at loading and then jumping as high as you can, catch yourself and reset. So not a rapid up and down, but just one maximum jump, load, explode up, catch yourself and reset. Just doing about 5 reps is going to be enough. Bonus, pro tip here, I would do these types of exercises immediately after doing a slower squat movement. So whether you got a barbell on your back, holding a kettlebell or dumbbells at your side, if I'm doing normal squats, right after you do a set of 5 to 8 squats, do 5 to 8 hinges here, extensions coming up, or jumps, either one immediately after, so we get that contrast. So that contrast type of training is really going to help improve your power production through the ground. So we learn to move fast and put a lot of force down into the ground. So those are your vertical jumps. The next exercise, we're going to work on lateral forces. Okay, so we worked on the vertical forces so far. We're going to work on the lateral forces. So pushing across, again, that transfer of pressure from the trail side to the lead side, we need to have that, and a good actual transfer of weight into your trail side. So a lot of people, when they're swinging, they might move their upper body, but if you don't do it by putting pressure into that trail heel and getting some weight or pressure transfer into this trail side, you're not going to maximize your club head speed, because you might look in a good position at the top, but if you don't get there by actually putting that force into the ground, okay, making a lateral transfer of pressure from trail side then to lead side, you're going to be missing out on yards and club head speed. So take a wide stance. From here, again, low impact version, I'm going from here, I'm loading into this side, I'm pushing off. I'm not actually going to get off the ground, we're just going to sit into it and push off the ground. If this feels fine, then you can progress it to coming to a balanced position. And then I'm going to absorb and push off. Balance in this stork position. If you want to wall for balance, that's fine, but you're going to push off. Try and, again, if you have to push off too far, you might have to adjust for balance, but you can start here and explode through. Think about pushing through the ground to come up. If you want to progress that, we're going to push across and actually do a speed skater option. So I'm actually going to drive across. So you can tap this foot for balance if you want to. Push across, push across, push across. Again, this is going to be maximum effort. So I'm going to go for as much distance and speed as I can safely for a short amount of repetitions, about 5 on each side, and that is the most you're going to want to do. So we've covered our vertical forces, so absorbing force first, and then creating down force vertically, actually jumping, and we've covered the lateral forces here, or jumping across if you want to advance it. So work on those exercises, and you can build on your squats by adding these exercises in, or your lunges by putting these in as a superset immediately after. I think you'll find that extremely helpful to increase that power production and club head speed. Hope you enjoyed this. Love giving you guys great content. Subscribe for more, and we'll see you next time.